All right. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to another Well-Don Tanks live stream where all the craziness of the fish kingdom happens as we are carrying red solo cups. No, I don't know. All right. Happy to be here. I know it's not my normal night. Let's make sure things are working, though. Won't mute that. All right. We're rolling. So, yes, not my normal night, so that's why we did a little earlier, 6 o'clock my time instead of 7 o'clock. Thought we'd kind of play with it there. Monday, I got held over late at work again, so I didn't even attempt to live stream because I don't think anybody was going to watch me at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. So thought we would just come on, what's the day? Tuesday, hang out with everybody. Got HC Aqua coming in, Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics coming in, the Fish Tank Barns lurking. M's hanging out, Black Little Carling. We got the other Tiffany. Who else we got in here? A bunch of people. We're all Trevor's here. Brian P's lurking. Yeah, we were all having a good conversation in the chat before the start of the stream. I've been really trying to get here early so I can jump in the chat with you guys and enjoy that. But yeah, things are good here. I'm excited to be here. I just got a lot of energy tonight, so I'm really feeling like this is going to be a fun one. JP, I wish I was nature. Wouldn't it be great? Like, nature's a fascinating thing. So obviously, we'll say the topic of tonight's stream is definitely a direct quote from Aquarium Co-op, right? Like he has the credit for that, saying all that kind of a thing. But really, what it's going to come from is I had 2 weeks off of work, and been back to work for a week now. But that 2 weeks off, I learned so much in my fish room. And I have so many new ideas and plans I want to talk about you tonight. Marie's coming in for the Aquatic Monkeys. Good to see you. But we also, as you know, my live streams, we can go off rails and tangents, and who knows what's going to happen. So I just, I have things I want to talk about, but this is also your place to ask any questions you have, any questions you want to. Moving into winter's phrases here. It's just been good. It's good to be back. So I said I had that 2 weeks off, and I honestly planned a live stream on my regular days, but I was just having too much fun with the family, making some content, working in the fish room, hanging out the waterfront, doing all these different things that it just became more, I want to say, difficult to live stream. I just never felt it. But now that I'm done with the vacation, back to work, back to regular life kind of, I'm just so happy though. So happy. Apple snail eggs are still gross though. Staying to that, I have 10 active clutches. I've just had 3 clutches hatch out. I think I have like 10 active clutches going right now. So Lavnia snails are going gangbuster in the tank. And that was actually massive. Well, that's massive. One of the big things I learned of touching nature daily. And that's obviously going to be in accordance to, working in my fish room daily. Rickistam's coming in. Got some fry from those guppies I bought from you. That is awesome. I'm very happy those made it out to you. They are doing well. I've actually no longer have that guppy strain in my fish room, actually. So it's not gone. It's just not in my fish room. I don't know if I can talk about it yet. There's some things that are coming that is going to be awesome. But Sharon Miller coming in. I hope you are safe, Sharon. I know there's been some crazy weather down there. My sister and her family just headed back to Louisiana just the other day. So hopefully they're going to get things put back in order from those. Fish Tank Barn. I have spent about 6 months in the fish room during the virus thing. You come up with all kinds of stuff when your fish room becomes your office. That is very true. Yeah, even just with 2 weeks in the fish room, I was in my fish. I'm in my fish room every day. You're feeding all that kind of a thing. But when it comes to actively spending just time, it's incredible what you see there. So I can, you've got an awesome fish room going, so I can only imagine the things you got coming up there. This is awesome. We got, 13 people watching, but it feels like the chat's rolling tonight. The energy's here. Feeling good. Ricky Stan, can't wait for my first bunch of snails too. Bought some of those awesome mystery snails from Lav. You will not be disappointed, my friend. And it was, I started to get some clutches from mine, and then I made one change, and now it seems like every day I go down there, it is, it's like new clutches all the time. Blake Adams, thank you so much for saying the like button. Really appreciate that. It's been a while. I was hoping you didn't leave us too long. You can't get rid of me that easily anymore. Yeah, so that 2 weeks I had off, it just plans were there to live stream. I even plan on doing like double live streams if I could fit it in. And then I just enjoyed being able to like get up with my daughter and make pancakes. That was my favorite thing I got to do with my daughter on my time off, was get up with her and we made pancakes together. We probably did that a couple times. And then just be able to go hang. Like I would sit down to live streams like, I feel great. I just don't feel it. I just want to go work on things. So I just kept kind of tinkering on things. If you remember, you have seen a lot of the things we've been tinkering on. We have this new tank in the office here, the new saltwater cube. So we have that officially up and running. So that video came out. Members got the first peek at this. So I have one fish in here right now. And then I've actually should be meeting with a local guy that watches my channel. He reached out to me and he offered me some coral that we are going to try. And we're going to start in this tank. So yeah, this one's been fun. Unfortunately, the 90 gallons kind of on a quarantine right now. I was peeking in there the other day, so it's going to be kind of hard to tell on camera. But all the plants are pulled out of it right now, and I put a ton of salt into it. That was the first time I've actively used salt as a method of fighting a bacterial infection. And let me tell you, when you're doing 1 tablespoon per gallon, like it freaks you out of how much salt you're putting into a freshwater aquarium. But I noticed that one of the severums in the tank had a little spot I wasn't liking. So I decided to kind of just quarantine the entire system. But this tank behind me, guys, the 90 gallon is incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm loving having that tank up here. And it's been fun to play with the saltwater tank in here and all that kind of a thing. But yeah, anyways, yes, there was this, the 2 weeks in the fish room was just incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But I really do appreciate the support, Blake. I really do. Yeah, it wasn't a burnout. That's the thing is like, I'm not burned out of making content or live streaming. Like I was really looking forward to sitting down tonight and chatting with everybody. It is energizing talking with you guys. Like as you've been noticing on all the videos, I try to, at the end, say, leave me a comment, leave me this. Like the comments that blew up on the saltwater tank was so much fun to read. That brought in so many comments, and it's just fun to read everybody's experience with it and what they're doing with it and how they see it. So that's been a lot of fun. But before we get any farther, I promised my wife, she is the one that worked very hard on these, so you're going to get a little bit of a sales pitch from me. We have a box full of the custom-made Wel-Don Tanks mugs ready to go. So these ones have the Wel-Don Tanks logo, and then on the other side of it, you have my favorite quote, dreams are only an extended reality. So these are available. We have a couple pre-made to go, a box pre-made to go. So we did have to raise the price to $25, and that includes shipping anywhere in the United States. So if you want one, reach out to me through Gmail. And she's even put in little treats and handwritten notes. So she definitely took her time on these, and these are awesome. So if you drink like a normal person, right-handed, of course, you get the nice Wel-Don Tanks logo. And if you're one of the weird people in the world, you get to give some people some good advice as you're drinking your coffee, whatever you want out of these things. So there's my sales pitch for the night. Support my wife and all she does on these. Thank you so much. But we also, she on her own designed us some new stickers for the channel as well. So the ones you get in like the orders, if you order fish from me through our fish collective, you give me like the square ones. And then my wife custom made these ones for us. So we've got some things rolling through the channel here. What am I missing? Sharon, I'm doing water changes. It's turn cold tomorrow. The front is keeping Zeta away from us. Yeah, I heard that there was like another hurricane coming in or something. I really hope that dodges you. Cold already happened here. Man, winter came worse. It's nuts. I was frantically taking care of the pond today, trying to get that set up for winter. Filmed a video on it, so you'll see a whole video coming out on that. But I had like a half inch, 3/4 inch of solid ice across the top of the pond today. Yeah, we went from like 65 and it plummeted down. And then Sunday we got a big snowstorm that came in and just plummeted the temperatures. But things are good there. HC Aqua just set up a saltwater tank too. I think we were kind of chatting about that a little bit. I'm hoping to see what you do with that one. And then Kev's Aquatics coming in. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here. It's awesome to see some new people in here just hanging out with us as we are rolling through the stream here. So yeah, I'm going to talk about kind of what's on my mind, but anytime, please feel free to, put up questions, anything you guys have, experiences you're having. Like I'm just such a good mood tonight. So we're going for about an hour, but as you know, if you guys keep the things going, we'll go for about 2. Black Little Carlin got that storm 12 inches already. Whoo! Nope, we did not get 12 inches here. We got a couple inches though. It's all melted off now, but it's the temperatures that just are still so cold. But I'm that nut though that I still have the window in front of me cracked open, so it gets hot in here when I'm streaming. Kev, I appreciate you following the advice from Jesse there. I really do. But I really appreciate this coming hanging out. It means a lot to me. It really does. You guys got some awesome stuff going on out there. Starting to get the bug, do a salt tank. Yeah, fish tank barn, it's fun. So I done it once before on my channel, and honestly, that one was kind of a. I wanted to do a salt tank, and I wanted it to be what I saw on YouTube. Right, I jumped right in with expensive equipment, highlighting, just thinking like, yeah, I can do this. Right, like I was ready to dose everything. Well, this time around, I slowed way down, and am taking my time with it. And I already, even though this tank has 1 fish in it and will probably stay that way for a few more weeks, I have enjoyed this tank way more than I ever did my first saltwater tank, ever. I simplified it. I just took my time with it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's why I want to continue doing videos with this tank of like, when I get coral in this tank, I want to do a video like, our coral's hard. And full disclosure, I'm not a reefing channel. I want to showcase what I think it is, kind of on my experience, that kind of a thing. 8 years before did freshwater. So yes, you've got way more experience than I do with the saltwater. I mean, collectively, say my last tank was probably up for like 6 months, and it crashed and burned so hard. But wanted to do a saltwater tank for the longest, just have been too scared, but last 3 weeks I decided it's time. That's what I wanted to really showcase with the video I did, is you can really make it simple. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. It gets so hot in here, so I bought the window. But of course, 2 neighbors down from me, they woodwork in their garage, and they are deciding to sand wood. How dare they? How rude of them to sand wood while I'm live streaming. But I wanted to showcase you can start a saltwater tank with like any tank, right? That was one of the things I saw coming in from the comments. Was I always viewed it as it had to be a big tank. It had to be a rimless tank. It had to have a sump. It had to have this. It had to have that. That's why I really wanted to showcase what do you want from it. So mostly everything in my salt was collected from the wild. Yeah, you guys have the best access to stuff out there. I'm so jealous. It's so cool. Trevor, I really hope it's the last hurricane for you as well. Hopefully that pleco's doing good for you. All right, I'm gonna tell you a story here. So I shipped the pleco to Trevor. He purchased one of my yellow zebra plecos, one of the little itty bitty guys running around the tank. So I packaged it up. And the first time I packaged it up, of course, me being me, I took it to the post office on Columbus Day. Didn't even think about it, right? I roll up and it's closed. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, why is the post office closed on a Monday at noon? Like, this shouldn't be it. So I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh, it's freaking a holiday. Like, holidays, besides the major ones, I don't even pay attention anymore. So bring it home, unpackage it, get it back in the tank, right? Don't even think about it. I think it's like the next day, I could repackage it, get it all set up. I take it to the post office. And I mean, I tag all of mine with live fish. Like every time somebody looks at this package, it's going to say live fish. So I take it to the counter, and the guy, like, when I'm in a rush, I'm a little bit of a jerk I don't really like small talk. Like if I'm in a rush, like just do your job, give me my product, let me go. Like, I'm terrible that way. So the guy looks at it and he goes, live fish, huh? Yeah. Like, that's what the tag says. But then you got to click yes. Like, they ask you the questions. Like, is there anything, biochemical, hazardous, something dangerous in here, liquid? I'm like, yes. Well, why'd you click yes? It's live fish. There's water literally in a bag in that box. Oh, I hope it's packaged enough where it's not going to leak. yeah, that's the idea of this. Mind you, I'm still in a rush. Like I'm still in my mind, like I have got to go. I don't have time to sit here and listen to your jokes. So he finally beeps it, finally scans the barcode, and then I get the, so do you just like look at your tanks and imagine that your fish can like talk to you? I'm like, oh my God. Like, sir, like, yeah, sure, yes. In my mind, I'm like, no. Sometimes I'm not going to answer that. Just to scan the ding. So then, this is the part that kills me. This is the part that I literally like about raged out in the post office, and I watch him take the package from the counter and just alley-oop it across the room into a bin. And I have this thing tagged up as live fish this way up, fragile. Whoop. And I cried. I literally just wanted to cry. I just watched this pleco turn end over end and just crash into a box. And I just had to walk out of the post office, and I sat in my car and I just started gripping the steering wheel, just like, I'm gonna just freaking out. So I emailed Trevor and was like, oh my, like, praise all the Jesuses you can think of. I hope that fish makes it to you. Like, if it does not, I'll obviously take care of you. Like, I've never really stressed over shipping fish. Now that I've been selling through a fish collective, like, I've never really stressed about shipping fish. I'm always just kind of the guy of like, it happened. Whatever happens. It's out of my hands. I hope they make it there. If they don't, I'll definitely take care of the customer. But to literally watch the alley-oop across the room, like, it crushed me of like, this guy, like, you have no idea how excited I was when I found that pleco had bred. Like, you have no idea what that pleco's worth to me, and you have no idea what that pleco's worth to my customer. There's my story. We're 17 minutes in and I'm already ranting. Fish taking barn, I may have lost my stuff with that. Oh, it was a difficult, definitely difficult. In HC Aqua, when I'm telling stories, I take on certain voices depending on how I want to make the person sound out. So JP says they told me nano saltwater tanks are not for beginners. I ended up preferring it over saltwater tanks. Let's see. I ended up preferring it over saltwater tanks over 10 gallons. Sure, my selections are limited, but maintenance wasn't a burden. Yeah, so it's I've always heard that too, is that like nano tanks aren't for beginners because of parameters and stuff. But we got Guppy Guru in the house. I appreciate you coming in really quick, my man. I know you're having a rough night. If you guys can check out Guppy Guru's community tab and just leave a comment of love for him. It's going to be a rough weekend for him, but really appreciate you coming in, dude. But we got Ray R-A-Y Ray Aquatics. Appreciate you coming in. Afternoon. I'm really curious where you are at, my friend. If you're saying afternoon, that's cool. But yeah, so back to JP. So I've always heard that too. Of nano tanks are for beginners because of water parameters and this. Okay, there's things that I can agree with that. Of salinity fluctuations as water evaporates, salt stays behind. So you're gonna need to refill the tank with RO water and all that kind of thing. So I like, that's a simple concept for some people there, but I just think I don't think it needs to be. I'm frustrated. That's what everybody says. Like, it's not for beginners. Like, we even get that in the freshwater side of things, right? Where it's what tank size for beginners, and everybody says the largest tank that you can possibly get because of water parameters. My advice on that is, why not get the tank size you feel comfortable maintaining? Because if you're going to maintain the tank, your water parameters are going to be fine. So the questions I ask people when they say, like, oh, how big of a tank should I get? I can, okay, are you willing once a week to drain a bucket of water, dump it, refill that bucket of water, and dump it back in the tank? Well, yeah, sure, that's easy. Okay. Are you willing to drain 2 buckets of water, dump it, refill it, and dump 2 buckets of water back in your tank? Oh, yeah, no, that's not a problem. Okay, are you willing to do 3 buckets? Whoa, hang on now. I got to do 3 buckets of water? And that's where I kind of can now say, like, okay, start with a 10-gallon tank. Drain 1 bucket of water a week, dump it back in. You want a 55-gallon tank? Like, hey, drain 2 buckets of water and do this. So it's just it's a starting point of what are they actually going to maintain? Because everybody wants the big tanks because they look cool. But if you can't get somebody to actually maintain that, because I think it's going to take so much work, any tank size you get them is going to just crash and burn. Who do we got here? Antonio's coming in. I appreciate you being here. Sorry about the post office. Lately, they have been bad when it comes to live fish. Always an issue. Yeah, it was the first negative experience I've had shipping fish. I mean, every time I've taken fish in, and I'm still fairly new to it, so nobody really knows me yet, is they read live fish, and then I get the questions of, wait, live fish are going to survive? Yep. Well, I thought they had to ship overnight. Not all the time. Well, what kind of fish are in here? And then my mind goes, well, I can tell you, or I can just say goldfish, so you'll stop asking me questions. So one time they're like, what fish in here? Like, oh, it's a wild type endler. It's a what? Yeah, it's a wild type endler. Oh, that's cool. So just my interactions with the post office have been fun. Let's put it that way. Misfit wishing everyone having a good night. Antonio coming in, rocking the dance moves. But all right. So title of this stream, what I've learned by touching nature daily, and I've learned that even when kept in captivity, fish are still going to surprise me. Fish are still going to shock me. Fish still have needs and wants and things, and we can make tanks better for them. And just I saw some things in my fish room that I want to change. I'm going to change. And just new projects I'm bringing on, and there's projects coming that I can't talk about yet, but they are going to be mind-blowingly awesome when they get here. Yes, so excited for them, So working in my fish room for these past 2 weeks, every day, hatching baby Brian every day, hatching that kind of a thing. Really focusing in on raising fry, breeding fish, trying fry. We've got some new, a new setup in the fish room that I've been playing with the last few days, and I am in love with it. Oh my gosh, I'm finally glad I finally took the time to do this project. We'll have a full video coming out on it. Members have a sneak peek on it. It changed my breeding operation. It's so cool. So it started with Lewis gave me some new fish for the fish room. He kind of steered me in a direction. Well, I say he steered me in a direction, but it was I wanted to go in a different direction than what I was doing in the fish room, and he provided opportunity for it. So one of the things I'm doing is I did move out a bunch of fish from the fish room. I previously used to talk about rice fish. I love rice fish, still love rice fish, but I moved out my gold Madakas and I moved out the Pearl Galaxy Madaka. So I did move out 2 types of rice fish. So I still have my orange Yukis, which I'm never going to get rid of because it took me so long to find them. And then I have my black LeMay still growing out. And I have fry from the orange Madaka. So that was super cool. So I moved out 2 tubs of rice fish. Then I was looking around and the guppies were awesome. They're absolutely beautiful. And it just wasn't catching my invigoration, have you? Because I would look around the fish room and I'd be like, yeah, the guppies are amazing. They're beautiful. Look at the coloration on that male and look at the colony I'm growing. And this is so cool. But then I would look over at the mouth brooding tank, with the Egyptian mouth brooders, the multicolored Victores. And I would be like, oh my gosh, let's grab the flashlight and creep on them. Oh, is that female holding? Is that female holding? Is that female holding? It's my mind kept racing over to different tanks of what truly caught my attention. So I started thinking about it of something needs to change, because I think everybody in your tanks, whether let's say you're keeping fish for display purposes, keep fish that you're interested in. The 90-gallon behind us, that's a display tank. Right now, I have super red Severums. They look like a gold Severum with red spots. They're growing out. I have mouth brooding Severums, which is like the red eye Severum. Gorgeous fish. Super excited about that fish. And then I have some flametail tetras that were a missed shipment to Lewis, and he offered me a school of them. And this tank is the most active tank I've had in years. It's active because the tetras are cruising around, the Severums come out, there's a Cory in there, I got some Plecos in there, I bought a Geophagus for it. So the movement of the tank is just invigorating. It catches my attention. It's really intriguing to me. Even though I only have one fish in the saltwater tank right now, the little damsel, it captivates my attention, and I'm really interested to see what that fish is doing every day. So I started looking at fish and started thinking of what can I do to make everything better. So I pulled the rice fish, took them to Lewis, pulled the guppies, took them to Lewis, and then my mind started working of like, okay, like I'm feeling good about this. I like the ideas I have in the fish room. So then the 22-gallon rimless tank that's usually behind me when I'm filming, the one that was sponsored by Houston Manzanita, had the awesome branches in it. The Dragonstone, I think the Dragonstone in it. We had the the Harlequin Rasboras and the Ember Tetras in it. So beautiful tank. But then I just decided I wanted to change it up. So I moved my shell dwellers over to there. So broke that tank down, moved the shellies up in there, did a new rockscape, new shellscape, and I got some new fish coming for that tank. So then mine started going again. I'm like, okay, now we're really in a direction. I'm really liking the status of the fish room. I'm really liking what's coming with this. And then I had the yellow belly live bearers from Wild Fish Tanks, and awesome little live bear species, really cool, underrated live bear species. But again, it just didn't get me excited. And I want to, even though I'm actively looking to breed fish, I still want to breed fish that I'm excited about. So I took those with Lewis. So now I have a bunch of empty tanks in the fish room, but it's not just that they're empty tanks. This is a new opportunity to move tanks out and move new tanks in. I don't want to give away everything yet because I do want to make a dedicated video to it. But it started when Lewis, like I say, gave me a new group of fish to play with in the fish room. It is a cichlid species. They do mouth broods. That's what I'm that's fascinated with by right now is these mouth brooders. So, and it is another Victorian cichlid. So I got them home and I realized that one of the females was holding eggs. So I popped her, got the eggs out, got them into a tumbler, and for like a week I thought they were unfertilized. I just thought they weren't going to make it, but they looked fertilized, but nothing was happening. So I go down a couple days later, a few days ago, and the eggs now are wigglers. Like we're now producing fish. So that just like caught my attention again. I'm like, yes, like new fish came into the fish room. They're breeding. Things are happening. And then I would look in the tank that they're in, and they would all hide in the back of the tank and huddle around the sponge filter. So that's where my mindset started going here of what can I learn by touching nature daily? What can I learn by touching my tanks daily? And I started noticing behaviors of fish in different tanks. Now, things like in the 90-gallon, I got the tetras in here for a ditherfish to provide a smaller school of fish to let the bigger fish know that you don't have to hide all the time. I know it's a weird concept, but it worked great. Now, I can't always do that in all my breeding setups, but I can provide like terracotta pots, crack them in half, make a little cave, put some substrate down. That's one big thing I'm doing this week is all my tanks, besides some of like the grow out tanks, are going to have substrate in them now. I know like Master Breeder Dean runs tanks without substrate and does a phenomenal job at, cranking out fish. But I've been noticing that the tanks that have substrate in them, things are starting to happen. I have a new type of Carbensis in the fish room. And the moment that I got them on a black substrate, man, they fired up so fast and did exactly, if you guys haven't watched Aquarium Co-op's videos about breeding fish, the latest ones, they did exactly what they said they would do. They did what he said they would do. I put a coconut hut in, kind of faced it towards the front, towards the corner, and I came down the next day, and the female had started piling up sand by the entrance and was just fired up. So really happy that things are happening, but let's jump in the chat here really quick here. Let's see here. Hey, keep throwing out. Let's see here. Other Tiffany, keep throwing out the cool fish types. You never know when you might catch someone's interest and get someone new into the hobby. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I've really enjoyed doing the unboxings with Lewis, even though not all of them make them to the main channel. Like the last one I just did with all plecos, I released it for the members, and I went there with the intent to film an awesome video for the main channel. But I got there, pulled my camera out, and realized I forgot my SD card. So I just kind of crashed and burned. It took away my desire to really do something cool. So sorry, members, got a pretty shoddy video from that. But you say that, but that's what I think I've talked about this. I have talked about this. The multicolor Victoria that I have, I learned about those from Randy interviewing Corey for his podcast. That's where I learned about it. And that's when it started, just really like, what are those? Oh my gosh, those are incredible. I want some. Then they started, breeding. And then just the other week, I got 61 eggs from one female with that big of a spawn. And my mind was blown. So I'm very invigorated right now. I'm hopefully going to go film a video tonight after the live stream regarding some of that and showing you how I get 61 eggs and I'm having above a 96% hatch rate of these eggs. So things are cooking in the fish room right now. And that's what I'm really excited. Lewis kind of saw what I wanted to say. There's been some influential people along building this fish room, right? We started with a blank canvas. I moved a 220-gallon tank in there, and it's just like, it's not working for me. So Peter, Guppy Guru, we started talking. He saw what I had, in mind, kind of saw the desire I wanted, what I wanted to make, and kind of nudged me a certain way. And now look what I have. So we get things set up. Things are going great. I meet Lewis, start working with Lewis, talking with Lewis, doing a lot of things with Lewis. And then he's like, I know you're really happy with your fish room, but have you thought about doing this, this, and this? And all of a sudden my mind goes, that's awesome. Let's do it. So that's what I'm doing the next 2 days. I'm tearing down half of the fish room basically, and I'm rebuilding it to meet with this. But it's new fish species. So there are new fish in the fish room that you have no idea about. Don't worry, I'm not hiding them from you. They will be coming out. But it has just been awesome to be, and I've been very excited about this. It wasn't like I lost my passion and found it again, but just the direction this is moving to, and it's moving to bigger and better things to come in the future that I can't talk about yet. But it's going to be amazing. But some of these new species I have are just incredible, just absolutely incredible what we got going on here. So and that's also like the Touching Nature Daily is, if I wasn't actively engaged in these fish in the fish tanks, I wouldn't see what I've been seeing in my fish room, and I wouldn't have seen the Kerbensis block half the cave and just that was so cool. When I watched Aquarium Co-op's video about his albino Kerbensis breeding and what they were going to do and the steps to do it, and I did that in my fish room, and it was like to the T. They did exactly what he said they was going to do tonight. It was awesome. Fish Tank Barn. Let me look up the name for you. I want to say it is a Pink Smith Damsel. So there's another shop near me called Rusty's Reefs. He's dedicated to like all saltwater, and I've been trying to get up there to do a tour with him, but he had it for like $5 in his shop, and it is the prettiest little fish. I like it. It's kind of one of those like toy fish that's purple up front, yellow in the back. So it's a cool little fish running around. Is that Diogo Sarah? Been a while. It's been a while since I've been here. Hope everything's going fine. Cheers. Well, thank you for joining in again. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you back. Black Lip of Carling, that's how I ended up with some of your Egyptians. Yeah, that's what's exciting about this is I never heard about them. I found them. I got them. Now I'm able to offer them to people that never heard about them. And I hope they're doing well for you. I really hope they're doing well for you. So, and that's kind of a shameless plug. I am selling on our fish collective, and if you buy some of the Egyptian mouth breeders right now, I'm selling them as fry. You're going to get some of the bigger fry that are going into subadult, like juvenile state right now. I have almost 200 fry in the fish room right now, but it's been awesome. Yeah, Fish Tank Barn. I hope it's not too angry. My stocking for the tank isn't going to be enormous, large, a lot. I'm just hoping it's just kind of just going to be fun. I just want to. That's why I'm taking my time with it. I didn't buy the first pair of clowns I saw. Well, actually, I kind of did. So, what was it? The 3 states, 2,000 miles, 7 days later video. I teased at the very end a pair of clownfish I had. They were meant for this tank. Unfortunately, they made it about 2 weeks and died. So won't be doing that again. So I'm going to track down. I really want a pair of clowns in here. And I'm a sucker for an enemy. God, I'm a sucker for an enemy. And I've been offered a bubble rose tip anemone. I freaking love them. Next to like the rainbow anemone, that's my favorite one. So yeah, I'm going. I debated myself long and hard if I was going to put an anemone back in this tank, but I love them so much. Trevor says, so what I'm hearing, get more tanks ready to buy your new fish. Trevor, I'm hoping. So the goal with the fish room right now, and this isn't against anybody out there. I want to make that very clear. Because there's a bunch of sellers on our fish collective, and I think they all have incredible fish. I've been eyeing up HE Aquas, Angels every day, literally drool, just like, oh, I want those fish. So my goal, though, I want to offer something different to people. I want to offer something different in a way of they can build their confidence with, they can find just new engagements for people, new things that they can try. But it's also fish that pique my interest. That's why I got rid of the guppies. Like, they were beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Those fish were incredibly awesome. Every time I looked at the tank, I wasn't just like, wow. It was like, oh, okay, cool. Those are awesome. Where I look into the tanks of these new species, like every day I go to the fish room. Every day I look in the crib tank and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Like, what are the babies? Are they here yet? Have they spawned yet? Like, come on. Then I look over to the other tank, like, oh, those fish are new. Like, oh, is that female holding? I think that female's holding. No, I don't know if she's not holding or not. Like, so there's things that just excite me to the point of like people think I'm crazy. So that's what I want to offer on our fish collective is when you go to you pick your breeder, you pick Wel-Don tanks, you're going to go in there and be like, oh my gosh, like this guy's got some sweet fish. Wait, I've never heard about that fish. What is this fish? Better go check out his YouTube channel. Mouth brooding cichlids. They can be in a planet tank? Okay, now I can really start thinking about this. So then you buy those fish. You put them in your planet tank and they do awesome. But you're like, wait a second. Those fish are kind of hiding. Like, I need something new. Like, I need something to add to this tank. But, okay, hey, Wel-Don, can these fish live like endless? Oh, yeah, I have no problem with that. I think they'll be great. Sweet. All right, go back into our fish collective. Wait, he sells Blue Star Endlers. Yeah, let's buy a pair of those. Okay, cool. So like that's the goal that Lewis pointed out. He's like, your fish room is evolving to something where people can build a tank with the fish you offer. So that was kind of like that. Once he said that, my brain sparked so hard. So the goal is that you can pick fish out of my fish room and be like, all right, I want some of A, some of B, and just for a dash of flavor, we're gonna pick this guy up. And you can have this awesome community tank that is not often looked at like a community tank. And that's one thing I learned about touching nature daily in my fish room was a lot of my fish are compatible in different ways that people aren't going to think about. The Egyptian mouth brooders, the multicolor Victoria, has probably been the most chill little cichlid I've ever kept. Now, I haven't done like crazy testing of let's drop one Endler in. Is he live? But I have been, noticing behavior of these fish and watching them and see where they like to nest at and where do they roost and, watching them on my security camera in the fish room and seeing the interaction between male and female and juvenile. And, I really think that you could set up an awesome aquascaped planet aquarium, put these mouth breeders in, get some like endlers up above them, maybe for that splash of just some kind of random color. I put like a swordtail in there. Maybe you pick up this cichlid I haven't told you about yet. Maybe you pick up these crebensis, which are amazing. So now on this half of the tank, you have Egyptian mouth breeders doing their thing, running through rockwork, running through plants. This half of the tank, you've buried a coconut hut with, rocks around it, and you're watching crebensis like mask up the entrance and getting ready to breed. And then all of a sudden you have this parade of crebensis and this parade of mouth breeders with endlers up above it. It was awesome. It was awesome when all these realizations started coming in. And here I am ranting and raving again. Black leucosses, they are slowly growing and they will get upgraded tank on my new rack. That's awesome. Please let me know. I love getting updates from you guys that have bought fish from me. It's super cool. So Blackwood carding. I've been eyeing down his Chinoides betas as well. Those are some awesome ones. HE Aqua, dang it, now I want some mouth breeding cichlids. If you do, let me know. Maybe we can work something out, because say you've got some fish I want too. I haven't yet. I'm yes, I've been eyeballing some things down. So maybe we can figure a trade out or something. But yeah, we can talk. We can definitely talk. You have albino crib. That's awesome. Or the fry from. So you did get her to breed. So I know we were talking about previously that we were concerned that either A, there was no females, or B, that there was a rumor going around like albino to albino would not breed. So that's cool. That's really cool. Because I threw in the towel on those. I no longer have the albino cribs, but I do think so. When I had my albino cribensis, I had them on a bare bottom tank. Saw the female get all plump and purple and pink, ready to breed, but I really think that the key thing that was missing was substrate. And I didn't even really think about that. So the cribs that I have now, let me see if I can. Let me find the name for you. I'm going to give a sneak. I have it. Hang on here. I'm going to give everybody a sneak peek on these cribensis, because oh my gosh, maybe I don't have the name. Shoot. All right, hang on. Let's go to the Googles. Molawesi? Hang on here. Molawesi. Oh, I saw it. All right. So I'm pretty sure these are the ones I have. So share screen. Yeah, okay. Application window. Chrome. There we go. So I believe the pronunciation is the Molawi crib. I may have the wrong one, to be honest with you, but they look like this. I think it's called like the Molawi crib. So Lewis calls me up one day and says, I just ordered in a trio of cribensis. I've never seen a fish like this before. You need to get over here before I keep them for myself. I had no idea these were coming in. So I run over to the shop, and he's still got them in the bag, and I pull them out of the bag, and the first thing I see is that blue eye. And I'm a sucker for fish with blue eyes, right? Daisy rice fish, all that kind of a thing. And I get them home, get them in the tank, and guys, the colors on these fish, these things look like they belong in a reef tank. Blew me away. When the female gets that super pink purple belly, it is incredible the colors these things display. So I have a trio, but one of the males started just shredding one of the females, which I think is a female because I saw the purple belly on her. So I moved her out, and the next day, they started piling up sand on the coconut hut, and it just, these fish just became amazing. Like, just took my breath away, amazing. And it made me really happy again to have cribensis, like more cribensis in the fish room, kind of a thing. It was awesome to see that. So working on those right now. I got some other fish in the fish room that just, again, like piqued my attention of touching nature daily. I found that my Egyptian mount breeders are not the most outgoing fish, but the more hiding places I put towards kind of the front of the tank, the more they would come out and hang out, the more they got used to me, to where now, instead of the male darting away every time I turn the lights on, he'll actually kind of mosey up to the front, hang out there for a minute. Then I have another group of fish that I'm really excited to showcase. I really want to do a full dedicated video on like a species spotlight kind of a thing. I got a fish in the fish room that is typically looked at as a rodent of the fish hobby, that they breed so fast, nobody wants them, they're aggressive. We found a new color variant of them, and all the research we did was it was fairly docile, but it was a color I've never seen before. And to the point that it took me and Lewis 3 weeks to get him in from his wholesaler, because they would sell out of over 500 per week. That's how fast these fish were selling. So we snagged them up, and we're kind of testing the market with a couple of them right now. So I say there's new things in the fish room that I need to get down there and film and show, and just I'm so So excited for things. But it was as I'm growing out the Egyptian mouth breeders, right? I got a huge, like over 100 of them in a 10-gallon tank right now, growing out as I'm getting ready to kind of split the juveniles around. It was watching those guys have been cool too, because I put a clump of moss in there, and they go and dart through that moss, and so again, it's things that I saw by touching nature daily was how fish really interact with their environment, and that some fish I think are more comfortable in a tank with substrate. Now that's not true for everything. I mean, I did most of my tanks bare bottom for a long time, but Lewis has 2 50-pound bags of sand coming to the shop for me this week, and I'm gonna put some substrate on my tanks. I'm excited about it. All right, where are we at now? So I did, okay, so Jesse did, I did a regular male to a female albino, 3 of the Fryer albino. Oh, at least you got them to breed. That's cool. I mean, but three of the albino, that's going to be a lot of broods before spawns before we can get more albinos out of it. But at least you got something started there. Let's see here. Yeah, so what else did I miss here? I don't think I missed anything else. Yes, but it was a very just exciting 2 weeks as I worked in the fish room and came up with these ideas and these plans. And that's what I hope to go film some tonight. I have another Egyptian mouth brooder holding fry. And do I have one in here? I think I buried it. Nope, don't have it. I'm looking for a product that I think I took down to the fish room and didn't keep up here. But one of the things I want to go film tonight is how to set up an egg tumbler. I kind of did it with my zebra pleco spawned, and that egg tumbler was garbage. And then I did my video talking about the egg tumbler versus the Zis breeder box. That one could have been done better. I got a lot of good feedback from everybody, so I'm going to try and apply some of that tonight to go film one out. But it's exciting to see things breeding in the fish room. That's really what it comes down to. Is it's exciting to see that, and then it's exciting to share that with you guys. To hopefully encourage more of you, like, you can do this. Like, it's actually very applicable for a lot of people. Atkins Nature Aquarium coming in. Appreciate you being here. And guys, as always, feel free to jump in the chat, drop your questions, drop your comments. I always enjoy hearing about what you guys have going on. It's very fun to watch each other. It's fun to watch in chats too when you help each other with questions. Black Label Carling and HR Aqua are chatting back and forth about the betas. I've never done the experience of the betas. He has. He's the master of them. Black Label does a lot of beta spawns too. So it's cool to see working with each other on that. Betas is one thing I do want to do eventually. I've tried with, I've had a few betas. I've had 2 beta species. Well, technically 3 beta species. Trying to breed 2 of them. Didn't work out. That's one thing I really do want to know more of and like play more with in the future. Crown Tail Halfman coming in and Lefty coming in. Gosh dang it. How long you been streaming? I'm not getting notifications anymore. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. So everyone has been saying it because I haven't been on here in ages. Seems like I've been haven't live streamed like in 2-3 weeks. It's kind of hit and miss. Lefty, we've been going for 48 minutes and 50 seconds. That's where we're at right now. So no, all good. Definitely let's make sure your notifications are on. I know you're not the only one that has been telling me that YouTube has not been sending them notifications from my channel. Don't know why there. Black Label Carling. Shh. Stop chatting. Lefty's here. So yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't tell you that. We'd go a little early tonight instead of 7. I started at 6 just because it was my off night from what I normally stream. But I thought it'd be every now and then, if I miss my regular night, I kind of bump the stream time up a little early to try and catch more of the East Coast people and all that. But I turned on all my subs a couple months ago, and now they turn all my notifications off. Yeah, freaking YouTube. God, get your stuff together. It's not like I have 500,000 subscribers that I can argue with. I appreciate everyone who is subscribed to the channel. I do have to say, though, it's like over 80% of people that watch the channel are actually not subscribed. So it is nuts, the data and the analytics that show it, that over 80% of people who watch the channel are not subscribed. Blows me away. But we are going to continue pushing forward and moving on, because I appreciate all of you who are subscribed and come hang out with me as we chat on these live streams. Crown Tail, I do not have any updates. I'm honestly just kind of letting him do his thing tonight. We've talked a little bit today. He knows I'm here for him, but I understand in those times that sometimes you just need to. I'm just trying to give him his privacy, trying to give his the best privacy I can on that nature. But yeah, I feel like it's a normal stat too. Like everybody I watch, I mean, granted, there's never going to be a channel out there, right, that like 100% of the people who watch the channel are subscribed. This is not possible. I mean, you take even like PewDiePie. Like I think I'm subscribed to him. I don't watch him. I think I subscribed to him because he was in like a battle of being the biggest channel or something. And I was like, yeah, sure, subscribe. Then I just went over the notifications and off. But yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Like everybody's got their own taste, and let's be honest, I make weird noises and I'm typically annoying. Yeah, Trevor, it's crazy. Wouldn't think it would be that high. It's all part of growing on YouTube. I think it's capturing that person enough that they want to subscribe, capturing that person enough that they want to watch your future content. Because let's be honest, how many times have I gone onto YouTube for a DIY tutorial? I need to fix this. I need to fix this on my car. I need to do this. And we come across that one video and it's, oh yeah, okay, that helped. That showed me what I needed to do, but we've never subscribed to that person because either it's like the only video they put out. You found them really annoying to listen to, but it's actually the information you needed to do. So it's all part of growing on YouTube, but we are, nose itches. We are in the grind and in for the long haul. And some of the opportunities that are coming my way, probably starting here as we finish out the year, but 2021 is set up to be a massive year for me here at Wel-Don Tanks. Like, it is going to be a year of new opportunities, big changes, but the potential for the growth is insurmountable. Like I don't know do I hope that one day I'll hit 100,000 subscribers? Absolutely. Like, do I always get excited when I see the subscriber count go up? Absolutely. But I never want to lose, and we've talked about this, right? We've talked all about this of I never want to lose sight what makes me me. I never want to lose that interaction and connection I have with everybody. But I'm also excited of how many people can I reach? How many people can I help with things? How many people can I give? Because I feel like I try to be that voice of reason and so many people say that can't be done. Where I come in, I'm like, hey, give it a try. Like, why not? Go for it. If it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. That means you have a crash and burn thing you can absolutely learn from. If it's something that I truly feel like, hey, man, you're just going to waste your money, I try to be polite and say that. A good example is the saltwater tank. Is all the comments, even the comments in here as we were talking about this. Nano tanks are hard. Nano tanks, you can't do this. Like, it's so difficult. It's so expensive. Okay, was this tank fairly expensive? Yes. I bought the tank used for $200. I won't lie to you there. I bought the AI Prime Light used for $100. I think they're right around $200, new. So there's money, sure, but I bought the 90-gallon. I'm not going to say the price. Let's say Lewis gave me a great deal on it. I bought light over it. That light was $100. Lewis sponsored me with the canister filter. So it's very, very generous of him because that's an expensive filter. So I see it on both sides of things. People say saltwater is expensive because all the equipment's expensive, but yet they go out and buy 4 FX6 filters for their 75-gallon tank. Like, that's what, $300 a piece? Like, you could build an incredible nano tank, even a bigger tank for that amount of money. So I think it's all perspective on how we look at things, because people look at my fish room and they ask me, like, how much did this cost you? I'm like, money, a good amount of it. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's also, I've been trying to be very strategic with things, or strategic with how I've done things. The equipment we're using to do this live stream, it's not all the most high-end stuff. I'm slowly upgrading things. Sure. Yeah, that's all in part. Again, that's thank you to all of you who watch the channel, all of the members, all the support you guys have given me is allowing me to slowly start upgrading things where we can make better productions. But that's where I really went down a road of, instead of throwing money at a problem, let's learn to use what I have. So like tonight, hopefully the picture quality is good. I did buy a new lens for the camera, so I wanted to experiment with that. I feel like it's nice. I've got some new lighting coming for the studio, all in part, again, thanks to you. But I feel like we're still working with what we have. So I've done a lot of research of using what I have just to make it better, actually understand what I have. And then we can apply that to aquariums and different things like that. Like, again, touching nature daily. What can I learn from my fish of touching nature daily? What can I learn when I go interact with this fish daily? That fish is hiding in that corner and has been there for 3 weeks. What's wrong? Well, let's add some more hiding spaces. Holy cow, like the fish is out. That was an interesting topic I had, or discussion I had with somebody, was his comment was, I have so many hiding places in my tank, the fish don't want to hide. And that got me thinking about that. Like, okay, you have so many places, you think the fish would just go hide anyways, but because there's so many of them, they know that if they need to, they can duck away in an instant and be safe. Interesting concept, and it works for him. All right, what am I seeing here? Lefty's trolling me on the nano tanks are hard. Lefty, it's good to see you. I missed having you in these chats. Fish tank barn in the saltwater, you can DIY a lot of stuff if you know what you're doing. Both ways. I have wanted to really play with the DIY algae scrubbers. I think those are awesome. I think algae scrubbers are incredible. I've thought a lot about hooking up a hang on the back refugium for the saltwater tank, and I've even thought about trying to do like a DIY-ish version of one. We'll see. We'll see what comes of this one. I'm just really enjoying what I got going on right now. Oh, before I forget, because I know I'm going to. So as we're working on the studio, I don't want it to be overly excessive or overly distracting, but I do really enjoy the I want to say like it's not Esk, the energy, like what's that little, the Aurora? What is it? I know what I'm thinking of. It's like another word for energy. It's like you feel good. Like, well, we'll call it this has become my creative space. So again, my wife, very, very influential in this creative space. She's the one that built all these shelves back here. She got all these put up here for me. She put all the pictures up for us. She figured out how to hang that light for me. She got that framed out for me. But as I stream and I see myself, it's this spot right here that bothers me. It's this empty, this void, a void I want to fill. Or aura? Yes, something like that. I want to say like a halo around my head. That's not what it is, but like I want something right here. There's something that adds just a nice flair. Just a touch, not overbearing, but it's something that screams, not screams, it's not can't be overly done, but it's something that says like, ooh, that has Well-Don tanks written all over it. So we got to think about this, because I've thought about doing an aquarium right here, but the issue is the door opens in and could potentially smash it. So I thought about doing like a small tank, but I've pushed my boundaries already with the 2 tanks I have up here. So I've thought about doing like a neon sign right here. Yes, but that's what I need. I need your ideas. I need your creative powers to help me think of something for this little space right here. But yes. Carrie Habercorn coming in the chat. Good to see you. Really appreciate it. I feel like people have a misconception about saltwater tanks for whatever reason. GG Internet. So you're absolutely right. Like one of my favorite reefing channel is Fish of Hex. The guy has a massive 500-gallon system all connected. So it's like a 300-gallon display tank with connected tanks around the room. And that's his business. He grows coral and sells them. That's his business. But and he'll tell you, Like his 300-gallon is fully loaded with things. But he'll also tell you, and he's also done builds on his channel that are much simpler, much easier to understand. So I like the progression that he had of really small, really simple, really large, really well done, and with a lot of bells and whistles that he'll admit, it's like, you don't need these things, but here's what I have anyways. So I really like his, like, Bull Creek Supply. I love Bull Creek Supply. I love their channel. I love the information I've learned from them, but everything they do is top of the line. Like they did a series of, what do they call it? So, what was it? This is going to bug me now. Hang on. Never mind. It's going to take long to find. Something of, they were focusing in on doing, it's like super simple reef tanks to something that was going to be very easy to follow along with, very simple to do. And they were going to set it up in kind of 3 different tanks, showcasing different coral types and different lighting types. And I got so excited for it because, like, yes, like finally somebody's going to do a smaller tank and show us how to do it like budget friendly. Yeah, wrong. Granted, Bull Creek Supply has the option to go out to their warehouse and go this, and this. Like everything had top of the line gear on it, to where you would add up the cost of that tank. You're like, geez, that's more than my house payment. I can't do that. So that's why I started this. Is 1, I was interested in it, and 2, I wanted to really just make a nice display because it is in the studio. It's going to be on camera, but I really also wanted it to be simple, just simple. But yes. Rick Stan, I'm retired, so I'm using my kids' inheritance on the hobby. The fish need it more than the kids do. Oh, let's see. Retirement. What is that for me? I can retire in 23 years if I want to. No, that's a lie. Hang on here. 20 years. Yes, if I want to, I can retire in 20 years. So my daughter's got 20 years to figure some way out to harvest gold out of Mars. I'm just saying. Carrie's coming in. Good to see you. Em, I appreciate you coming back, though, and thanks for catching the replays. You've always been so good to me. And Antonio coming in with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend, very much. Behind the scenes, I really appreciate your support. That'll definitely go to everything we got going on there. Jax, now I see all the ideas coming in here. And Carrie Habercorn, if I could find a flower horn as good looking as your boy, you better believe I would have a flower horn here. That was a big debate of mine. Debate with my boss, when I put the saltwater tank up here, I really wanted to get a tank up here with either a small puffer or a flower horn. But we'll see. It's not the cards yet. Hopefully, though, I'm thinking like maybe a year-ish. We may have some extra space to work with some things. Just saying. But yes, flower horn definitely needs to be back in my life. A giant metal laser cut rice fish. Dude, that would be awesome. But it's expensive. Like I've looked into some neon signs, and like the most basic one I can find is the neon tetra neon sign, like on Amazon, that everybody has. So I've thought about putting that there just because it would. This part of the room is dark, right? Like the banner looks amazing. So I've even thought about hanging lights on the ceiling to shine down on the banner. But so I don't want it to take away from this beautiful face. That's a lie. But I want it to just add that final kind of like touch to the room. Because like I've watched some live streams, and I don't want to overdo it. So I've watched some live streams. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm focusing way more on the background and trying to figure out what you got going on in the background than I am trying to like focusing on what you're talking about. Where then like other live streams I've watched, and it's like, ugh, this is like you're boring and your background's boring. I think the setup you make for your live stream is going to influence how things roll. I really do. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. Yeah, here. Small tank with honey gouramis. Sharon, I do love me some honey gouramis. I absolutely do love some honey gouramis. But it's my concern about putting a tank there is how far that door swings open. And that would be a bad day if like Tucker came busting up in here, blew that door open, and smashed a fish tank. It'd be bad. It'd be a bad day. Many people think that that to do saltwater, you need all those fancy gadgets, but it's not really that necessary. It's true. So I hope to showcase. Antonio, my man, $20 to say you're welcome. Thank you so much for that support. You are awesome. Dude, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate everyone in the chat as well. You guys are all awesome. I'm having a good time. We're going to keep going. I'm having a great time tonight. Angel coming in. Antonio, what are we betting for? Did I miss something? Angel, thank you so much, though, for the $3. I do appreciate it. That'll help curb my addiction to the sugar in cans. I haven't quite opened it yet. I brought it up here just in case we went over that hour mark. And you know what? We are over that hour mark. So let's get this party started. Legal drinking on a live stream. Kidding. Forget I said that. Probably just got myself demonetized. Antonio, a new tank. We've been, I think it was Antonio, we were talking about blasting sand options. Let me double check here. Yep. So if anybody's got any ideas for a good black sand, Antonio is looking for some options. He really wants the black sand. So we talked about the blasting sand from Tractor Supply. It says it's currently unavailable right now, which it's interesting to see what's available and what's not available right now. So I'm very fortunate of Lewis has his connections. So I'm actually putting black sand in most of the tanks. One has more of a tan color sand because it's some leftover pool filtration sand I had. But I wanted to get in there and I like the colors that fish show on darker substrate. But I really, again, it goes back to what I've learned from nature by interacting with my aquariums. And I have that one particular fish that Lewis gave me that just seems very shy. So I want to definitely change up, get some rock work in there, see if that helps them interact better. Right now, it's in with a bunch of floating plants, but then it's also, there's no substrate. And I think they're feeling that anxiety of not being able to dig the substrate around and put it where they want it to and get comfortable. So it's almost like I moved them into a new home and said, you have to keep excuse me, I got the hiccups. You have to keep it as sterile as possible, which that's no fun, right? Like that's what this studio was when I first started. It was a sterile white room. And then thanks to my wife and this awesome color that somebody took back to Home Depot for, $7 was awesome. And then the beautiful banner that Peter gave us and the frame my wife built for it and the simple, even how simple these shelves are, it added so much character to the room. I love it. Absolutely love it. Lefty says Petco has black sand. It's super fine though. The person that has done an incredible job at comparing Petco items, but even just items in general in the hobby, is Primetime Aquatics. I really enjoy their channel, and I really appreciate that Jason does comparisons of things that I would never have even thought about doing comparisons on. Because I agree with you. There's some things like Petco's not bad. PetSmart's not bad. It's honestly not. And it kind of blows your mind when you're like, wait a second. Petco buys fish from the same people that the mom and pop shops buy fish from. That's interesting, But it's when Primetime Aquatics compares, is it the Magitarium brand sand to like other sands and gives you their benefits and their cons of it. It's really it's intriguing. Like that's when you're a super nerd when you're YouTubing things to differences on sand bases. But it's when it affects your tank. Like I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to know about it. So. Absolutely. So yeah, Antonio, I hope that I can continue to help you on your journey of your tank. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely going to be awesome. And if I don't know if you have fish in it yet, or even if it's set up, but when you're ready for fish though, maybe we can have Lewis hook you up with some things. We've got some plans coming, my man. Sharon says, I changed water on 4 tanks, 3 to go. Hopefully those loaches are still doing good for you. All right. Well-Don, it's English. You can talk. Carrie says, I thought about trying to breed Archie. Which is her beautiful flower horn. If you've not watched the video that I did, of going to Reno and going to Idaho, you definitely need to check it out because Carrie has one of the prettiest flower horns I have ever seen. And that guy was hilarious to interact with. He was way more personable than my flower horn ever was. It was awesome. But I haven't seen a female that catches my eye like Archie did. Yeah, it's hard. I know like a lot of the females don't get the big noogle hump, if any. I know it's very rare for them. I think some of them kind of can, but not as big as Archie's is going on. And it's always difficult too. Like rarely do the female fish get like appreciation for them. Like rarely is it like those are to catch your attention. And that's not harping on carrying at all, but I get it. Like when you have a fish like that is your pride and joy, but you want to breed it, like I get it. Man, that guy needs to get himself a good girl because he's got some standards she's got to meet up to. So I understand that. So yeah, good luck on that. If you do ever breed Archie and it's successful, let me know. Reno may be in the cards again because I need a flower horn in my life again. Carrie, my wife, is absolutely awesome. She did an incredible job on this room. Shameless plug again. She's the one that made all of the custom Well-Don Tanks mugs. So if you want one, it's the ever so high price of $1 million. $25 shipping anywhere in the U.S. She did an incredible job in this room. And I think if I ever upgrade on things, it looks like Lefty may have tracked down my wife's Instagram there. I may have to get her posting some more things on the old Instagrams. But yeah, I definitely, as things are progressing here, she's a lot of the mastermind behind some of the things. And if things continue the way I hope they do, I think we may, I don't know if you'll see more of her, but she'll be playing a bigger part behind the scenes. She does a lot. There's actually, whose fish were they? Somebody that got fish from me. She was the one that packaged them. I don't remember the words. Yeah, she went up and packaged them for me. So that's super cool. Like she's getting involved. That's super cool of her. Let's see here. So M says, and tell me if you're going planted, Florist Black is a good sand. Estes also has a black sand that is not too fine. So yeah, I actually am using some of the Flourish in a tank right now. It's because it was something Lewis brought in to show a customer. Broke the bag open. Customer pulled a 180 on him. Said, no, thank you. So I got it. My issue with like the Flourish sand, it's a great product. My issue is okay. This is going to get everybody to unsub from me. I personally think Seachem is the most overpriced product on the planet. You know, they make itty bitty little bags of sand and then want you to pay an insurmountable amount of money for it. Like Prime, I think Prime is stupid overpriced for what it, I mean, there's many other water conditioners that do the same thing, but it just seems like we get sucked into, and granted, I'm the same way. I'm that guy of like, yeah, extreme foods are the best. But I'm also that guy of like, hey, Amazon has Tetramin on sale right now for $2 for a 3-ounce jar. That'll feed your fish, and they'll look great. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Seachem Flourish. Like you compare it to blasting sand, like it's gonna do the same thing. That's why I liked when Guppy Guru did his video on showcasing growing plants in different substrates, and the results he got was awesome. I think it comes down to, you know, lighting conditions, how deep is the substrate, like Bentley Pasco. If you want to get some in-depth knowledge of substrate, that dude has done it. And it makes my head hurt afterwards because I'm taking so much information in, but it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. But it sounds like you got a few things you're still working on the tank, but you did say it is set up though. Tank is up and running with 4 fish at the moment. That's awesome. 2 star sapphires, OB peacock, and a clown loach. That is nice. Sounds like you got some cool things going there. Jason's wife uses Petco black sand on all of her tanks. Yeah, I think it's a good option. I say it's for a long time too. I fell into the mindset of like, Petco, PetSmart, bad, right? Because they get such a bad rap. But you got to think of who they cater towards. Not every store can cater to those of us who've been in the hobby so long and have that very specific niche we're looking for. It's like people find out that I like tanks, especially at work. This happens all the time. You like fish tanks? Yeah, I love fish tanks. Like I'm a super nerd about them. Oh, do you want to buy one? It is huge, like a huge tank. Oh, sure. Like how big is it? I don't know, man. Like it's huge. Like you got to believe me. It takes up, half of my room. Oh, sounds cool. Like okay, like what do you want for it? Oh, like $500. Yeah, never mind. No, dude, like you've never seen this tank before. It is huge. Do you have a picture of it? Oh yeah, it's right here. Yeah, that's a 10-gallon tank. Like, no thanks. Oh, you don't want it? No, not for $500. I don't. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you though. Like, enjoy though. Or the other one, it's my other favorite is, oh, do you want to buy some fish? Like, yeah, like what fish do you have? Oh, I have no idea, but like they are super rare. Where'd you get them from? I don't know, like a Petco, I think. Cool. Like I'm glad. Like, how much do you want for them? I don't know, like $30 a fish. Okay, like, do you have a picture of them? Yeah, that's a goldfish, man. Like, I cool. I hope you like it, but I'm gonna pass. Well, you have tanks. Yeah, I do have tanks. Well, why don't you show the fish then? It's not what I'm looking for. What fish are you looking for? Oh, a Egyptian mouth brooder multicolor Victoria or multicolor. What is that exactly? So we gotta get into these niches of I'm looking for this. Like, let's be honest. If it wasn't for Petco and PetSmart, I would not be touching Nature Daily right now in my fish room. So I still kind of have to credit to them of I think they get people started in the hobby. So it's not a bad thing. There I am ranting and raving again. All right. Sharon says, did Lewis tell you that I received more than one variety of Hillstream loach? The big one is a Chinese butterfly loach. Some are Sowelia lineolata and some are Sowelia 03. They're doing great. I did not know that, but that's super cool. I knew that one, the largest one, that thing looked like a lizard when that came out of the bag. That was a big fish for a Hillstream loach. And then the Sowelia and Sowelia 03. Man, you know your Hillstream loaches. That's super cool. So that's I do have those available. I have these because I saw Rachel literally breeding her Hillstream loaches in these Calvis caves. So one day I'm gonna have Hillstream loaches in the fish room. My goal is to breed them because I really want to jump on the train of do they need high flow? Do they not need high flow? Like all that kind of a thing. Lefty, I can't see paying that much for sand, or I use pool sand or play sand. Yeah, it gets expensive. Like what was I? Before I built my first fish room, I wanted to do a 120-gallon planted aquarium. We're talking like jungle, just tons and tons of plants. And I was looking into the Fluval stratum because everything I've read was like, that's the best planted aquarium substrate. And then I choked of how much that was going to cost me to cover that thing. It was nuts. It was insane to me. And I've just never been that guy. I've never been that one of I need the highest end stuff to do things with. And that's okay. I'm not winning competitions. I'm not even interested in that part of it, but I love what I have and I enjoy sharing that with all of you. Oh, I'm way behind on the chat. M says, Seachem is quite overpriced for what they sell. Some products have ridiculous prices, such as Matrix, which is literally just Puma Stone. That's my favorite one. But, I get it, right? I get breaking somebody from a product or a habit they've been doing for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, to when somebody says, like, all I've used is Seachem Prime and I've never lost a fish. Like, cool, then keep using Seachem Prime. Like, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying for half the price, you can use this and it's going to do the same thing. No, it won't. Well, okay, man. Okay, that's fine. Totally fine. You're not going to touch that one again. My fish are crazy for bug bites. I still think bug bites are a fantastic product. I don't have any right now, but I love the size of them, and I love that it's like a slow sinking pellet, but it's not a pellet. Like I don't know, like something. I agree with you. Whatever it is about the bug bites, I love the way that they interact. The fish interact with the food when it's going through the water column. It's always been a good one for me. I almost attribute it to there's a food I have. Oh, God, the name's weird. I gotta go look at the name, but it's like $20 a bag, and it's a really good high quality food but the texture of it reminds me of bug bites, kind of a thing. Extreme krill flakes and extreme sinking pellets are now a staple for all my tanks. I love the extreme food. I love the krill flakes. I love the one that I actually like the most is the what do they call it? Shoot. Hang on. It's their mini pellet. It's the Extreme Nano, the Extreme Nano pellet. That food is crazy underrated. I know when Corey did his big thing on the krill flake, everybody jumped on it, and I was feeding it. I love the krill flake. I have cherry shrimp that munch on it, and my gosh, the red in those cherries is incredible. But the Extreme Nano, that to me is like the universal food across the board. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Feeding, fry, larger fish, smaller fish. I mean, if you're feeding something like a 30-inch dovite, I get it. But raising out multicolor Victoria fry on the Extreme Nano, start them on baby brine shrimp, then you hit them with that Extreme Nano. Whoo! It's a perfect combination for breeding fish. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Lav's coming in the house. Lav, I have so many snail clutches, and I love it. I'm so excited. I have baby snails running around the tanks everywhere. I am currently looking at upgrading that tank to a larger one so I can even pump out more. And the thing is, like, I want to keep all of them right now. They are so freaking awesome. Those snails are gorgeous. Timberlake Homestead, so glad I found you again. That is a very high compliment, and I appreciate that. It's good to have you here. Really good to have you here. And I don't know if you've been watching the channel or not, but we've definitely got a lot of things on there. So hopefully there's a good amount of content you can catch up on and enjoy. And by all means, leave me comments and let me know what you'd like to see on the channel. Yeah, Lefty said, I think 90% of us would have never gotten to the hobby without them, referencing Petco, PetSmart kind of a thing. Like, I used to go to Petco with my brother. He had a tank, and I remember just loving it. I loved being there. I loved the the fish, right? Everything I got to see of it. Yeah, it's actually there, right? So, Lav, I end up buying all Petco snails. You got to grow that snail collection. Lefty, thank you for dropping the Instagram page there. So if you want to see, I don't know, behind the scenes, kind of off topic things, Instagram's a good place to follow me. I try and post up some things there, but I'm also trying to be very active in the Aquarium Co-op forum because I'm a brand ambassador. I've been trying to be very active in that forum. So if there is one particular thing on the forum, if you're not a member, you can track it down. That is a huge behind the scenes on. Members have seen it. And M, thank you for suggesting to subscribe so you don't lose me again. All right, the chat is rolling now, and I'm just behind ranting and raving. What we got here? Sharon, I agree. I do need some Hillstream loaches. We'll see. Yeah, maybe it's in the cards sooner than I think. I'm working on breeding out my lemon blue eye longfin plecos, and they're finally starting to get to size. So I'm going to try and dabble with those for a while before I move on to the loaches. So I want to give the loaches a tank to let them do justice, and I really want to have them interact with their environment. And that's why I enjoyed Because Your Fish, his Shodanai puffer tank. Watching those loaches in that tank, that was the most I've ever seen a Hillstream loach interact with their environment. Again, it goes back to touching nature daily, like what you see. So for those who maybe just be kind of joining in, I had 2 weeks off of work, and I got to work in my fish room a considerable amount. And I noticed a lot of behaviors from my fish that I never noticed before. And I'm now making some active changes to try and increase that positive behavior with those fish. Lefty says, dirt plus play sand plus plants plus easy green and co-op root tabs. Cheap, easy way to keep beautiful plants. Absolutely. I've done one main dirted tank in the past, which is fun. Very fun. And those plants went bonkers. So yeah, I don't know. I like in the future, if we get more space to play with, shall we say, I really want to try my hand at like plant propagation. Not thinking like pogo stem on Stellatus octopus, like you throw that in water and a day later you can cut off a trimming and have another bush going on, right? But it's like, I've never done things like cryptocorn. I've never propagated cryptocorn. I've never propagated, Anubias or Java ferns and stuff like that. So it's things I want to play with in the future, things I want to try. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is I have a list of things I want to try at least once. And that's always fun. We got here. Lav, it's good to have you here. I really do appreciate it. That's where they're my spirit animal. Talk about the snails. Yeah, guys, if you haven't, Lav has started her own YouTube channel, and she also does some awesome stuff on Instagram. But now that we got her on the YouTubes, and we've talked in the past about doing a live stream together on Instagram, and she's the queen of Instagram. Maybe I can pull her over to YouTube where I'm comfortable at, but we'll see. I have really been considering trying to do quick live streams on Instagram. So I know it's a whole other platform to reach people. And I do know a lot of people that follow me on Instagram don't follow me on YouTube, and kind of vice versa kind of a thing. That's okay. But for the quality of the production, Lav puts out some amazing things on Instagram about snails. You can't miss it. Absolutely can't miss it. Extreme needs to make larger sizes containers of nano. Sharon, I agree with you. So I think they do. And listening to Corey's live streams, it comes down to cost. And I get that, right? Like, not everybody needs massive containers of food, but I run out of the Extreme Nano really quickly, so I would like to have more, but it's also going to go up in price and that kind of thing. But I'd buy it. I'd absolutely buy it. So maybe if we can start like a movement, have you say that we will all buy bigger cases of Extreme Nano, we can get it. Need some lemon longfin plecos. That's my favorite pleco. Out of all the plecos, the lemon blue eye longfin pleco is my absolute favorite. Even the normal fin ones are gorgeous. They're really starting to move into their deep kind of like gold coloration. They get that, that lemon color. Super happy about it. They are awesome. All right, what we got here? So Lav's snail cells is her YouTube. Lefty dropped us a link. Go check her out. Absolutely, you will love it there. Lavs, I like the Bruins pleco, black with yellow spots. I don't know the name. Black with yellow spots. Oh, okay, so is Bruins a nickname on it then? Bruins. I wonder if it's black and I know yellow spot. It's not the Columbia, is it? So you can move into. Let's go here. So I don't know if this is what the exact one you're looking for, Lav, but it's often going to be called a golden nugget plug. This is the one I know of. I'm sure there's another variant that doesn't have necessarily that yellow tail, but Carrie got one from Lewis when we drove out there. And he had some awesome ones and I did not know this. There's different types of golden nugget plecos. So you can get some with big spots, little spots, lots of spots, not as many spots, kind of based on like collection points. Like one's called like a zine yellow pleco or something. I'm learning all sorts of things from Lewis on this. But that's the one I know of, like a black and yellow spot pleco. But I'm sure there's another one. There's got to be another one out there because there's some awesome ones. Like I really like the is it the Colombian snowball pleco and stuff? Let's see here. The gold nugget plecos don't get massive. The one that does get big, and Lewis actually has like a good 10-inch one in his shop right now. So gold nuggets are going to stay around that 4-inch mark, I would say. But when you get into things like the sunshine pleco, these things become an absolute beast. I would absolutely say that this right here is a really good representation of what Lewis has in the shop right now. Beautiful fish, very pretty fish. If I had the tank large enough, I've actually debated on bringing it home for the 90-gallon. It is an absolute incredible fish. But the good thing with the gold nuggets is they stay a little smaller. So they're much easier to keep. But the hardest thing I would say about the gold nuggets is they like a lot of protein in their diet. A lot of meaty protein is what they like in their diet. Sharon, where did you find lemon longfin plecos? So I found them from Aquatic Arts. That's where I bought my fish from. I bought them as juveniles. So they came in fairly small. Where did I get those? I can look at it later. It's been there for a while. So they came in very small. I've been growing them out. That's where I got mine from. I started with 6, but right now I only see 3. So really, really hoping that I have at least one male, one female pair. I really want to breed those guys and offer those out. They are beautiful. I know if you want the regular fins, Wild Fish Tanks has some available. He does those. What time is it? 7:30? Cool. All right, here. Antonio, can I mix a pleco with my little guys? So if you're talking these cichlids, yes. Just make sure you have ample hiding places for that pleco. Maybe look at something a little, I don't want to say larger. Look at something like a Royal Tiger pleco or a Colombian spotted pleco even. Let's go to, I'm trying to think of things that came into the shop the other day that I was unboxing here. I'm going to stay with Google. Colombian spotted. So there's some that get kind of larger that I think will hold their own a little bit better. So like the Colombian spotted pleco, I think is an absolutely underrated pleco that is not, it's not as flashy as other plecos, but they're absolutely beautiful plecos. Absolutely beautiful. I love them. You can look into things like a green phantom pleco that's going to cost you more. Like right now in Aquabid for a pair of green phantoms, it is an unfathomable amount people are paying for these things. These things are catching up in price to the zebra plecos for whatever reason. So you can do green phantom. Blue phantoms are really sweet, especially when they get bigger. Oh, look at that blue coloration. Whew, that thing's amazing. Absolutely incredible. And I know there's a gentleman here locally that we've been putting some blue phantoms and like the Colombians in, and even is it the L33 King Tiger. There's a variant of the L33 King Tiger pleco we put in there. It's a black and white one. It's pretty sweet, actually. So yes, there's a lot of pleco varieties you can put out there. A new one that just came into the shop that I've never seen before was the orange seam pleco. That one was pretty wild. Not fairly expensive. And then if you really want to get nuts, I just had it. I love that one too. What is it? Oh, geez. Hang on here. Is it the cactus pleco? Yes, you get things into like these cactus plecos. Awesome streamers that come off of these fish. They're wild. So the red cactus pleco. Some of them can get fairly large. So the streamers on the red cactus may get nipped off. So I would definitely just look for something with like the everything else we showed there. You probably have some good options there for plecos you can have in there. Just put some rock work in, some nice cave structures, and they should be all right. Lefty says, I wouldn't mind a blue phantom. Blue phantoms are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. One of the things, ideas, right? I really want to breed leopard frog plecos. That's the next one on my list. I really want to get some green phantoms. I think it would be amazing to try and breed those. So we've got some things I want to play with on the pleco side. I don't think I'll ever get into the zebras, though. Too rich for my blood. All right, here. My favorite pleco to breed and keep is the Ancestris Hoplogenis. Sort of hard to breed, but they look great. What is that? Let's find out. Well, Em, it sounds like you have piqued my interest on a pleco, and you may be the one to tell me how to breed these guys. Is that they look amazing. All right. L159 is so. Let me know if that's what that is. M L159 pleco. I want to know the common name. I suck at golden or scientific names. Gold dot bristlenose pleco. If that's what that is, that thing is cool. Okay. got my attention there. So, I'm curious, is that you breed them like a regular bristlenose? I mean, obviously, hopefully in caves. I'm assuming caves. But yeah, I'm curious to know more if you're hanging around here. I have albino long fins. My male is fanning eggs now. Hope he doesn't kick them out of the keg this time. That's awesome. I really like the albinos. And then I think the pleco is one of the only fish I really do like in longfin variety. I mean, who doesn't, right? So I had I think it was my pair. Yeah, Lewis got a pair in the back room of this regular bristlenose that he wasn't too sure what to do with. Went and checked the cave one day, and he's sitting on like 100 fry right now. So they've all hatched out. He's fanning them, but I keep seeing trappings happen with my yellow zebra plecos, and I keep seeing what I think are males fanning the eggs, and I keep getting excited for it, but no eggs yet. Very, very, really hoping we get some more there. Lefty, I appreciate you coming in, man. It was good to have you here in the chat again. Thank you for all your support. You have yourself a good night, sir. My voice hasn't quite given out yet, so let me go for a few more minutes. I have a really good time tonight. This got a flash pleco, and he is gorgeous when I get to see him. That's the hardest thing with plecos. So L59 pleco, so you're right. They like very stable water conditions along with moderate flow. Interesting. I may have to be chatting with Lewis about these ones. Those are a sweet looking pleco. It's not one you see very often. That's when I got kind of drawn to fish I don't see very often, but it's got to be those ones of like, this can't be, stupid expensive or incredibly difficult to keep. But it sounds like they're kind of up on the lines of my yellow zebras. So might have to try. Me piqued my interest there. All right, where are we at? Hour and 36 in. So I've still got some energy. I'm kind of going downhill. Drinks are running out. Voice is going out. But let's keep going for a few minutes. So if any of you have any Q&A questions you want to throw in, I don't care if they're even fish related. We can keep going, having a good time tonight. We got 24 people hanging out with us tonight. Thank you, all of you, for hanging out with us tonight. Really do appreciate it. And we've had a good time. People coming in and out. It's been enjoyable tonight. So what we're talking about at the beginning of the stream is the things I've learned, when I work in my fish room every day for 2 weeks straight. Now having we're at work, seeing the interaction of the fish, new species we brought in, watching the new Crebensis breed. Very excited for things we have to come. And it's new opportunities that are coming along with that too. So as we're growing, new opportunities are growing. Working on some projects right now that, again, I can't talk about, but it's going to be, and that's terrible to me because I hate it when people do that too. Like, oh, I got a new thing I'm doing, but none of you can know about it yet. It's going to be something that I feel is truly going to help all of you find fish that you're looking for. Our fish collective was a great part of that, and still is a great part of that. Lewis is still looking to start that website where we can continually ship fish. It's one thing I'm assisting on where I can. Is he wants to offer a good variety of fish out, and we do these unboxings and show these plecos off, and not everybody has access to fish stores like Lewis. And not everybody has those available, so it's going to be super cool to see like what comes of that. I'm hoping by the beginning of the year we can be pumping some fish out. George Sanchez, building a fish room. Anything you wish you knew before you built your fish room? Mismatched socks. Man, we got some new people coming in. I appreciate it. So George, I can tell you. So anything I wish I knew before to build. Air filtration is going to be your cheapest filtration. I think it's going to be the easiest there. What I can tell you some things I've learned from mine, and there's a couple things that I would change right now. So my first suggestion to you, George, is going to be decide if this fish room going to be a display fish room to where you can keep as many species as you can for the beauty of them, the look of them, watching them interact with environments, right? Or is this going to be a very nice display fish room where it's less tanks, less tanks, but well aquascaped, very well planted. This tank is all hardscaped, and it's very specific fish to meet that tank's needs? Or is it going to be a fish room of, I want to breed fish, I want to enjoy fish, I want to understand like the process of breeding fish? I think that's where my first recommendation is there. M says, know that you'll go to the hardware store 10 more times than whenever you planned. That is very true. So I definitely built something, didn't like it, redid it. But the second thing I would say is, if you plan on running your tanks off air filtration, so like sponge filters, box filters, that kind of a thing, invest into a large linear air piston pump. You will not regret that. But then along with that, the one thing that I wish I would change about my fishing right now is I used 1/2-inch PVC pipe to run all my airline. I wish I had done minimum of 3/4 inch. My next fish room will 100% be 1-inch airline. I feel like the 1/2-inch airline has put too much back pressure on the pump, so I'm not able to utilize and optimize, I should say, the airflow from the pump the way I want to. So if you're going the route of air filtration, study how you're going to run airlines. Study how you're going to plan that. The other thing I wish I knew too before I built my first one was, it's not everyone else's fish tanks. It's yours. So 3 things I have to say is, what do you want to do with your room? Plan out your filtration that's going to be best for you. And remember that these are your fish tanks and not everybody else's. So it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what they think or what fish they want to keep. And that was one thing too. Like when I started YouTube and started showing this, is people were always like, oh, that's a big tank. Why are you wasting it on one Fahaka puffer? Because I want to. That's the fish I like to keep. That's the fish I find enjoyment in. So it's definitely remember, it's what you want, not what everybody else wants. Also, make sure you build the fish room in such a way that it's not hard to take any one tank down due to spatial concerns in case the tank leaks. I have that problem right now, that if a tank goes down, I'm screwed. Make sure you can handle water spillage. That's a good point too. So mine's on concrete, but I really do want to add in some like rubber flooring. It's for grip purposes, trying to keep it clean. But then, another odd thing that I just thought about too, twist and turn in your fish room. So think in the room, like bend over, reach up. Can you fit a step stool in there? Can you fit a chair in there? Can you fit this in there? Like, even if you don't have all the tanks in yet, but maybe you have like the racks in, or if you have like tape you can put down. So it sounds like it's in the garage, so maybe some room, but like twist and turn, like reach around. What are your limitations? Can you reach this tank if you put it this high? Like in my fish room, if I bend over, my big butt's going to knock some things over. So I've had to, it's like, I've learned that I can sneak, like to move in tanks and move in and out tanks. The biggest tank I can fit in there, like for me to put a 40 breeder in that room right now, I have these shelves that will hold the tank, but I physically cannot fit a 40 breeder in through the doorway right now, how it's set up. So it's things of that too. Like, don't be afraid to twist and turn and bend over, figure out what limitations you're going to have on yourself when you're actually trying to work on a tank. And that's some things too. It's, you're reaching in for into a tank. Like, wait a second, I can't reach all the way back there. Like I have one tank right now that I have to kind of stick my head in between one tank and a shelf to look into this tank, and it's fun. It's definitely fun trying to net fry out of there. Mismatched Socks. I love that name, by the way. I really do enjoy that. Told the hubby that if it weren't for the hardwood floor, I would annex the formal living room into the fish room. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. When he's off at work one day, just knock down a wall. Just blame it on the dog or something. Trevor asks, what's your recommendation for racks in the fish room? Okay. So if you are, cost comparison is hard here because lumber is insanely expensive right now. Like 2x4 is over $5 right now in my area. It's insane. I know like Wild Fish Tanks just built all of his. My old fish room, I built all mine and I hated it. I hated the first one. The built was fun. Like then you hit the sixth one, you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. So I recommend check out things like the Husky racks. I think they also call them the Gladiator racks. They may be a little more expensive up front, but I think they offer the best value across it. Reason being, like on my Husky racks that I use in my fish room, I'm able to zip tie lights up underneath the racking. I'm able to attach piping to the racking with all the metal framing. I'm able to, with the, do I have any in here? It's buried again. Dang it. I have this like stash of stuff over here that's buried. The USB nano air pumps. I can clip it right to the rack, and on the crossbars and run it down to a breeder box. So then it's how, that's what I'm looking for. Mobile they are? There's a better word for it. They go up really fast, they come down really fast. So, and they're reusable too. And there's some resale value. Like I broke down my old fish room. Selling a wood rack that's specifically built to my fish room is very difficult. Selling a metal rack that, hey, these are dimensions, $50. Yeah, those will sell all day long. So my next fish room, everything will be Gladiator racks or Husky racks. Maybe I'll have to build like one just to fit that specific area. That's why I built the one rack in my fish room now, was just a very specific corner that I had very specific dimensions on. But the Husky racks and the Gladiator racks, you throw a 1/2-inch piece of plywood on those racking systems, and I think it's one of the best things yet. The Husky one I'm using, it holds 1,000 pounds per shelf. That's so much weight per shelf. So I think they're very well put together. That's absolutely what I would say. I would absolutely recommend is the Huskies or Gladiators. Like check out Aquarius podcast on his YouTube channel. He set up another Gladiator rack, and there's still a word I'm looking for. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours and I can't think. It's when you can adjust the height of a rack. So let's say you set up all 10-gallon tanks, and you're like, don't like that anymore. Take them all down. Then you set up all 20 longs. You can now adjust each shelf to according to how many tanks you want to fit on there. There's still a word I'm looking for. I can't think it out of my head, though. Okay. Don't be ambitious and have tanks that are too tall for you to enjoy. I've made that mistake. You'll like to take less and less, and will service feed that one less than the other ones. That also goes for how low they are, too. Do water changes with towels everywhere. Mostly on the hardwood floor. Sounds like you got hardwood floor, Lav. I want to box off a room in my garage, insulate, and make my dream snail room there. Do it. Just do it. I would love that too. So I keep hinting to the next fish room. There may be something in the works right now. Well, there may be an idea. Let's put it that way. I like the metal racks for another reason. They're metal, and magnets work on them. That's one thing too. Like Creative Pet Keeping showed that. Guppy Guru uses that too. Like you can magnetize food jars to them. So I think overall the metal racks just they're versatile. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, but the versatility of the metal racks is second to none. It's very difficult to compete with that when you're trying to set up, rows and rows of tanks of, like you look at Master Breeder Dean, the video Aquarium Cooperative Corey did when his water heater broke. I mean, he has to literally move out an entire rack to get to that water heater. And I think they're light and they're strong. Like when I built the wood stand for my 220-gallon tank, that thing was harder to move than the actual tank itself. Well, that was an acrylic tank, so it definitely is. But sometimes it makes sense to build your own. But for a fish room with tanks, metal racks all the way. Let's see. You wouldn't know how many things can be hung in a rack with magnets, not to mention fridge magnet labels. Em, you're a freaking genius. Oh my gosh. I've been thinking of a way to label my tanks. So I keep a master list on my phone of what fish I have in the fish room. And I almost have spent the money on a label maker, to make it all nice and neat and cool looking. And I'm like, I don't want to spend $30 on a label maker I'm going to use like once every 6 months. So it's like, okay, I'll put some blue painter's tape on it. I'm like, that's kind of ghetto. Em, you're a freaking genius. Magnets on the, oh, it's amazing. I'm blown away right now. Mismatch, that's a great idea too. I found these hook things from a metal rack to hang nets and stuff off of. That's always a great idea. I had an empty tank that kind of became my holding space for all my nets and stuff. And then I set it up. Then I lost my net holding thing. So I definitely need to get up there and throw some hooks up. If it wasn't so hot in the summer in Texas, I would love to convert the garage, but then I have to heat and cool it. To the cooling with the most difficult. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. That is the cooling part of it. That's where I get so fortunate, and like with the basement, I'm definitely having to heat it more. But like in the summer, it was very easy to keep it cool. Em, you can take credit for it all you want. The fact is, if you hadn't told me that you saw it at your local fish store, like I still heard it from you, so you can take credit for all you want to, man. See that black liver calling? I have magnetic shelves to hang mine too. So you see, like all you guys have some awesome stuff in here. Anyone have a custom setup for the Fluval 3.0 light? So Antonio, if you're going with the 3.0, which is a fantastic light, I like it so much so that there's the different already preset settings for the light. So if you're going to do plants, plant tank. I think they even have one in there for like a cichlid tank, so it's going to show off those colors more. So my recommendation is don't get so concerned about the presets as much as this select or making a custom setting, but it's so much like selecting a preset one. That's what I did with, the AI Prime over the saltwater tank as custom sliders. And I found one that's related to a certain spectrum I was looking for. But like on the 3.0, I think I like it so much because it has the preset stuff there. It's pretty sweet to have there. Most of mine sit on a sideboard from the 1950s. They don't make furniture that strong anymore, I swear. You are absolutely right. So if you dig way back into my YouTube channel when I first started, I had the initial fish room the bedroom I overtook with fish tanks in it. I had a long dresser and I was able to fit a 40-gallon breeder and 2 10-gallon tanks on this thing. And like, I didn't fear at all about that thing holding the weight. That thing was as ugly as all get out. The worst piece of furniture I've ever had, but it was free. The wife hated it. I hated it, but I loved it because of how strong that thing was. Absolutely insane. But all right, everybody, we are almost at that 2-hour mark. I'm running out of caffeinated beverages over here. I definitely feel my voice starting to crack. And I just need to hopefully go film a video tonight. So my voice is all scratchy and crackling in that video. You know that all of you took part in an epic live stream tonight. Thank you so much to everybody joining in. New faces tonight. I mismatched socks. I don't know if I've seen you here before. I may have, and I apologize if you haven't. I just don't remember. But guys, the conversation tonight was fun. It was just fun to talk with all of you. Fun to see everybody here. Fun to share what I've learned by touching nature daily, interacting with my tanks on a daily basis and the things that are happening in the fish room and things that are coming there and the questions that came in and just helping people and each other helping each other. So thank you so much to all of you for joining. Keep going strong. Have a good week. Enjoy your fish tanks. I should hopefully be back on a regular live stream schedule. So coming Monday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we should be back on there. G-Man Smash, I appreciate you still coming back, though. Jessica Taylor, I kind of remember that one. I try to remember people that come in, so I really do appreciate you being here. So, guys, yes, new video coming out Friday. I don't know if it may be the pond video, just to kind of keep that on kind of a regular schedule-ish with the weather. I may throw the pond video out on a extra video this week because I got another one cooking on even edit I'm really excited about. But again, everybody, thank you everyone for joining. The stream was awesome. And as always, keep your tanks well done. Good night, everybody.